afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be in this crazy world. Welcome, humans and others. I greet you with the love and honor of the infinite Creator, and I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from our Creator. Now, with that said, I want to send out love and prayers to DJT, Donald J. Trump, but also to all the other folks too. But he's sort of in the crosshairs at the moment. But forced behavior. I just watched the crazy congressional hearing with the director of the Secret Service. And forced behavior seems to be like right there. The forced behavior is that the national news and everybody, hey, Barry, how are you? I'm sorry I didn't call you back. It's been a little weird. But the um, the forced behavior is obvious if you just take a step back and look at it. And there are some folks that are going, "Oh, I don't believe you, Dave. What are you talking about? It's a conspiracy theory." No, it ain't. It, all you have to do is just pay attention. The mainstream media folks are trying to paint a picture that, Trump is still Hitler, and that this is this and that's that. And in meantime, there's stuff going on in the background that folks just ain't paying attention to. It's like right now, there's supposedly, again, another issue with data, metadata, and airlines, 150 some odd flights have been canceled or something, or maybe it was 1,000 flights, a bunch. So they're trying to force us into a particular way of thought. Now, and what do you mean, Dave? Well, if we had this big, massive outbreak, with the internet and stuff, outages. So now we're going to, if we have all these outages, then what are we going to do about it? Well, because it happened, if you don't want this to happen again, then you are going to have to do this. Now, we don't know what this is at the moment. There are some people do. They want to try to put some type, obviously, they're trying to force us into certain types of behavior. Now, look what they did with the COVID thing. Honestly, that was behavior modification at its greatest. Now, I studied behavior modification over the years, and once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. You should have heard the retards trying to say Trump. Oh, I've been listening. That's one reason I have been quiet. Who is I don't have. It's the end of times. The government feathered their bed. Oh, listening to the Congress today, I watched the whole hearing with the Secret Service person, and she wouldn't answer anything. I mean, nothing. I mean, it was so crazy. It's like, so why? And so Congress on both sides are like, lady, you got to resign. We don't care if you're a woman or not. You're not taking care of the Secret Service. And the Secret Service is obviously not taking care of, previous presidents, current presidents, and folks. And that whatever's going on is they never do. What else is it? Right. So, but the thing is that Congress it was amazing to see Democrats zoom in on this lady and go, "What is wrong with you?" Now, one of the things here's forced behavior. Okay, now stop and think about how many AR-15s and how many um, AK-47s are here in the United States. Who knows, right? And so now they're saying because the AR has been used in so many shootings, now that is the truth. And but because the AR has been used in the presidential, assassination attempt, and the same day there were people shot and killed in Birmingham, Alabama, at a bar or something. I mean, there's nothing to be snuffed about that. But here's the thing. If you can get a rifle, a regular rifle that's semi-automatic, and just pull the trigger, okay? You don't have to have an AR-15, okay? There are lots of other types of weapons, regular, sure enough, going to shoot a deer kind of weapons, or other type of game animal, that you can put, 10 clips in. You can get a handgun with 9 or 10 clips. So what is this? So I can go bang, 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 bang. It doesn't have to be an AR-15. But listening to these folks, especially on the Democratic side, it was all about the AR. It was all about the AR. He could have had another type of weapon, but that's what he chose to use to crawl up on the roof with and all that. So, hey, Chloe, how you doing? Answers the finish behind the curtain. Yep. But so people on both sides of the aisle today were trying to say, you gotta give us answers because people are dreaming up these conspiracy theories. Well, if you're hiding stuff from us, that's not a conspiracy. So we can all say that if you watched any of what the Congress today, the congressional hearings, there is no transparency. Things that everybody knows now about the incident, she would not remark about. So I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene that asked her, she said, so other congressmen and people have asked this question. Have you spoken with the FBI? Yes. Who did you speak with? Well, did you speak with the director? Yes. And the assistant director? Yes. How many times? Well, we've spoken. Okay. So now it's like, do they know how many shell casings were on the roof after the incident? And she was like, well, that's the FBI has it. And so she said, so you have asked you've talked directly with the director of the FBI? Yes. And did they convey to you how many shell casings were on the roof beside the shooter? Yes. And she said, okay, now, so how many were there? And she said, I can't answer because there's an ongoing investigation. Forced behavior. You hear me? Forced behavior. Because somebody's forcing her to behave the way she is. Because she's behaving the way she is, then we are being forced into acting or reacting the way we are. So this is forced behavior. Okay. Now, the COVID thing was absolutely forced behavior. Mandatory masks, mandatory jabs, mandatory this. It was absolutely forced behavior. All right. Now, you think that we ain't being forced into our behavioral things right now? Yeah. Think about this. Now, I talked about this a long time ago. I said, you need to have cash on hand in your house. And there are people who are like, well, I got my credit card, I got my this, and it. So there are people who went to the bank to get money out and couldn't use the bank. Many banks were shut down. You couldn't, and so the people where they tried to use their card, the reason that people went to go get money out of the bank was so that they could go purchase something, because whatever it was, they couldn't use their card because card readers weren't working. But they could always pay cash for something. So I'm outside on the deck, all chores done. Yeah, we got a pretty day here too, but we'll see if we've been getting a pretty good amount of rain here. But anyway, so back to the thing. So I've been telling people, have some cash on hand. You got to have some cash on hand. Well, what about this? And what about the Bitcoin? And what about that? Do you have any cash on hand? All right. I happen to have cash on hand. So I'm not worried if I can't use my card somewhere. I'll just reach in my wallet and pull out some cash. Now, if I want to go buy something, purchase something, it's pouring down there. You in Texas, right, Chloe? Is that right? But so anyway, people are freaking out. Forced behavior. So they're going to be forced to change their behavior. Well, I'll just use my card. Well, you're sorry, buddy, but your card don't work. But now, I don't know what their alternate plan is, but if this continues and folks can't get money out of the bank like they could, go to a teller. They still have tellers at banks, and they can count out money and send it through the tube to you. There are still ways. Of course, now, if the bank can't access its own records, you might be screwed. But see, that's why I still have a checkbook. I can still write a check and cash it for money. I still have a checkbook that if nothing else works, I can write a check at the store and it's still acceptable as money. Do you have a checking account? No, I have Chime. Do they send you checks in the mail? Can you get a checkbook? Well, no. What do I need a checkbook for? Well, because if the system goes down, you dummy, that you have a backup. So my backup is my checkbook. My backup is cash. How many people have a backup? But how many people realize, what? You mean I can order checks from my bank? Well, duh. And if you've got some of these Chimes or whatever's, they don't operate with checkbooks. So I would say go to a bank, and regardless of, well, these big banks and they're this and that and they're holding my money and all that. Well, so is Chime and all these other people. You deposit your money into an account and they keep it and they use it to invest in things. That's why they give you the card, So it's forced behavior. So they've been forcing people over the last few years to depend on the card, is my point. So they have forced everybody into using the card, and now the freaking cards don't work because the system's down. So now what? They're forcing a behavior on people that they're not aware of, just flat out ain't aware of. I know I'm this old crazy hippie guy that lives down in the woods, right? But I've been warning y'all, have cash on hand. When the hurricane came through here, 6 or 7 years ago and knocked out all the power, the only way you could buy something was with cash. And, the stuff happens. But when there's a nationwide shutdown of the system and people don't realize, well, maybe I should have some cash on hand. Oh goodness, I can, I can't use my card in the gas machine? You mean I have to walk in there and pay for my gas? Oh, tragedy. I go in and pay for my gas all the time. And I also, get a couple of scratch offs. And here I'm going to, when I got to go into town in a few minutes, and here's my winnings from my last scratch off bid. And if nothing else, I have a good time. But last time I turned in all my cards, I had $40. I had scratched off, I was scratching off for half an hour. But And you can also bump into folks and have conversations. I'm just going to take my card and use it here on the pump. Okay. But now folks can't use the card on the. So it's like, pay attention. Pay attention. People are freaking out. So how do you stop from freaking out? Go to the bank when they're back online, get some money out. And if you got enough money, take a bunch of it out. Just don't take $20. If you got $200 in there, take out 100. Take out half of it. Well, I got a bill to pay. Well, wait till the system calms down a couple of days. You might call your creditor and go, I can't send a payment because the system's down. They will understand that. You still might have to pay a late fee, but depending on what's going on. But to the point. So other types of things are being forced upon us. All right. They're trying to force us into the idea that the AR-15 is the culprit for all of these shootings, for the president and all the, we have got to stand up and go, no, it's the people behind the gun. There are other types of guns that can do mass shootings. I remember back in the day when there was, I think it's in Austin, Texas. I might have the location wrong, where they had a big tower and some guy crawled up in the tower with a bolt action rifle and started shooting people, sniping people. And it took him a while to finally get to this guy, right? And but it wasn't an AR-15. No, it was like it was like a 30-30 or something. I don't know what, but he was using a bolt action rifle. So it's like, oh, but everything is done with some kind of automatic weapon. No, that's not true. So they're trying to force us all into believing that these, quote, automatic weapons was the culprit. He did not have it on automatic. He was just shooting bing, 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 bing. You can do that with a 22, which the what I understand about the ballistics of the AR is that the bullet's not much bigger than a 22 caliber. So with a 22 rifle, he could have almost achieved the same thing. I had a 22 Magnum Winchester style. Beautiful gun. The Western style lever action. It held 11 bullets plus one in the chamber. Okay. And all you had to do was just bang, bang, bang. It was not an automatic, but I could pop off 11 shots really fast. And I got pretty good at it to where even I didn't even have to lower the gun. I could just cock it, So the idea that the AR is the only thing that can create destruction is stupid. Forced behavioral thinking, all right? So we need to tell our friends, no, it ain't the AR. It's not the AR. It's the people behind the gun, okay? What if he had a 22? Oh my God, all 22s are bad. Forced behavior. Now they're making our sort of switch topics. So our forced behavior is also what they're doing with the food. I live in a farm belt. They're growing corn, they're growing cotton, they're growing a lot of peanuts down here. Now you can't sustain life on peanuts, but it's a whole lot better than some other crops. And it's a 20 for those of you who might. But so they're trying to tell people that there's no crops, there's no this, and there's no that. And they're in a lot of places, they're not allowing people to have gardens, Now, back in World War II, because my granny used to tell me these stories, they had what's called a victory garden. Everybody had a little plot of land, and everybody grew something extra. You grew some potatoes. You grew some of this. Now, a lot of discussion about this now. If you don't see the need to back up your own self, If you don't see the need to like maybe get some seeds or some plants or something, not just flowers, but to I know you do, Barry. And I was thinking if I get to come see you in September, peanuts should be coming in about then. I'll bring a damn bushel of them to you. I will. I'll buy a bushel of them puppies because I'm surrounded by peanut fields around here. I got to go to town here in just a few, and there's several peanut fields I got to pass by to get there. So I was thinking about you the other day. I said, look, there's Barry's peanuts growing out there in the field. But anyway, Barry, I'm gonna use you for an example. Barry took some of his earnings, savings, whatever, and built himself a pond. All right. Now I'm just gonna say it's about an acre, but it could be more, could be less, and I'm not into. But my point is, Barry made the investment on his property to build something that could help sustain him. In other words, fish. But also with the fish comes other types of wildlife. So, but he invested in something. There are people who have money that aren't investing it. Now, I'm not saying you're going to go build a pond. That's not my point. But there are people who could invest some of their hard earned money into something that would help them. I've never seen a peanut farm before. Oh, peanuts grow underground, and the peanut plants are only like about this tall. I mean, it just looks like a field of green. But what you can tell that they're a peanut field is they grow them. There's like 2 rows of peanuts really close together, and then a space, and then 2, and then space. So you can look in the field and go, whoa, look, peanuts. But they literally only grow about this high off the ground. And so they dig peanuts. But anyway, so people are not looking at investing in things that can net them in, I got this in my hand, like going to the bank and having actual cash money in their hands. I can't read who you are. It's a little blue tag over there. And I have to get another pair of glasses. I've busted 3 pairs of glasses in the last 2 weeks. And if I'm going to be on the show tomorrow night reading stories, I'm going to have to find a pair of glasses. So, but anyway, breaking your eyeglasses. You're forced. Oh, Miss Pearl. Oh, God, I was praying for you last night, standing outside looking up at the sky. God, I hope everything's okay with you. Me just, oh, we talk. Q. I can't read the thing. Anyway, Miss Pearl, I mean, you was so strong on my mind the other, was it yesterday? It might have been the day before, but I mean, I was just like, Miss Pearl, whatever it is, I hope you're okay. So you were really strong. Is everything okay, Miss Pearl? Did you have any, you're going through it? Did you have any thought of me yesterday or the day before? It was in the evening time. Because I just felt like I was linked to you somehow. I don't know how, but anyway, whatever it was, I was damn sure about me and the dog too. Because Duggar looked up at me and he was like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "It's Miss Pearl," So, God, there are many times I wish I could help people better, and but I want you to know. Oh, but you couldn't tell I was out there because I was damn sure working on it. I didn't know what to do or how to do it, but anyway, good. Yeah, my prayer was that I wish that I could help more people, but I got to be here and be spiritually, but I'm behind y'all, because we all got our own little issues and stuff. I mean, I got a leaky roof, and it's been really rainy here, and this table keeps getting drenched, and yeah, okay, but live through it. Have the same phone number. I don't know if I have it, Pearl. Do you have mine? I don't know if I have it. I had it saved in my house phone, and then stuff happened when when I got my fiber optics. They changed out the phone line to, well, I still have, no, actually my fiber optics is the phone line. But anyway, so when they changed that, everything in my phone went out. So there are several folks as I had your number saved, but it ain't there no more. So, but mine is still the same, and you can, if you don't have it, I'm still in the phone book down here in Moultrie. You know, David Null, Moultrie, Georgia. I'm in there. In case you ever forget, I'm listed. We'll see. Hello.
It's me.
Oh, it's you.
I do have your phone number. It's to my other phone. I had to look for it just now. This is the same phone number. It's me. It's me. It's me. I just want to call say hi. I'm going through it over here with this crazy landlord. She's delusional, and she's mad at me because I asked her to fix stuff, and she's like, I'm going to evict you if you keep asking for repairs. So I quit asking, and I called the inspectors, and she failed on one of the inspections, and then the other one's coming, and she's going to fail this one. And I'm going to get this building condemned, and I'm getting her shut down.
Well, then where are you going to live?
I'm moving. I'm moving back to Wisconsin.
Oh, well.
Yeah, my income is about to change drastically, which is going to be a beautiful thing. And me and my baby ain't going to have to want for nothing now. So she could, if this place was up to par, she could have got a few months rent up for me on August 1st, but now she can't get shit. So I'm going to move around to have something better.
There you go. You're going to move on up to the east side.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you later, honey.
All right, sweetie. I'll try to remember this number and not get it deleted. But if you ever need anything, you can call me.
Okay, man.
All right, sweetie. I love you. And many prayers. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
How about that? Blessings to you, Miss Pearl, and good luck. Wow, that's always nice. I see now I got what area code is that? $608. God, I got to get some glasses. But see, not having glasses forces you into a behavior pattern where you got to squint and you go, crap. Now I got to go, if I want to look at it, I got to go find a magnifying glass or modify your behavior. But so take a look at what the general news articles are doing. I listened to a lot of the RNC last week because I wanted to learn firsthand. I wanted to hear it firsthand. I didn't want to hear somebody say, well, he said such a man, or take a little bit of a clip out of an entire speech or, take things out of context. Like the dictator thing by Trump. This is what he said. He said, on day one, I'm going to be a dictator and I'm going to take care of this and this and this, but it's only going to be for a day. So they've only taken the little clip that he says, I'm going to be a dictator on day one. But he only said for one day because he wanted to take care of certain things. So, but, you know, it's like, well, wait a minute now. So everything is taken out of context. So I listened to his speech. I listened to other people's speeches. I've been paying attention because a lot of lies flying around. So, but when you look at the, you know, the liars in the media, they are formulating such lies that it's like, what? So there is this whole set of people out there, a lot of them Democrats. Unfortunately, I used to be a Democrat and I woke up. But and I don't think it's about being either one. I think it's, you know, and having watched the people at the RNC convention, there's a lot of love and unity. And you look at the Democrats and you go, what happened? I don't want to be a Democrat anymore. You know, I don't want to be associated with you people anymore. And I don't think it has anything to do with my age. I think it has to do with I don't want to be associated with them people anymore. They've gone nuts. They've gone off the rails. I mean, I was a hippie, okay, still am. You know, I went to rallies and, you know, made love in the park and all that kind of stuff, you know. And this idea that, you know, we have to riot to protest. We protested a lot. All we did was like get stoned, you know. But our protest was still a bunch of people showed up and said, we don't agree with this. We didn't fight. We didn't scream. You know, we just showed up. So there are people who are showing up to things, but maybe not necessarily in person. But the quiet, sure enough protest of people just showing up, not even carrying a sign, say, why are you here? Because I don't agree with this. I don't agree with you. But I don't want to fight. I just want to tell you, I don't agree with you. I would wish that you would rethink that everybody in America has to agree to the fact that, you know, transgender men should be allowed in women's lockers. No. So in listening to the speech with Trump, he stressed people coming together. He stressed working together. He stressed, you know, so there is these positive things that he stressed in his speech. Actually, two speeches, the speech in Michigan the next day, or two. And so, but the mainstream media is that he's still Hitler. He is still this demon. He is still going to tear down the Constitution. He is still going to be this dictator. Did you listen? Oh, but he's lying. Well, so you trust Biden, who said he's going to run, baby, run, and now is, you know, yesterday he dropped out. So now what's up with that, right? So the people behind the scenes, behind the curtains. So I absolutely believe that we are in a time of in the Revelations, in the book Revelations. I absolutely believe that. And so the revelations are, did you see what's going on with the Catholic Church? Again, some more? Ooh. They're trying to get all the Catholics to believe in a particular way. They're trying to get all these people to say, if you don't believe in this way that I do, then you are wrong. You are anybody that wants to make America great again somehow is a terrorist. I am a terrorist. No, I'm an old hippie. Look at my beard, man. It really needs trimmed. But I'm an old hippie. I believe in peace and love and happiness and harmony. But because I want to make America great again, I am now a terrorist because they said so. So they're forcing these opinions upon us. They are forcing that because I want to make America great again, and because make America great again is MAGA, that now I'm part of an organization that believes in going out and shooting and killing and whatever. No, I'm a redneck. I'm a redneck hippie, lives down. Hey, Susie Q. I'm a redneck hippie that lives down here on the edge of the swamp. and we've been getting a lot of rain. So it's a little swampier than it was about a week ago. But we still like the rain. Grass needs mowed really bad, but was going to mow the grass yesterday, then it rained. And you shouldn't mow the grass when it's wet. It sticks to everything. but anyway, the forced perception of things. So they are trying to force us into thinking this away or that away. And they're really pushing it. So one of the things that was mentioned today, and I need to mention it to y'all, my friends, we were warned about false flags a long time ago. We've had false flags. 9/11 was false flag. Oh, and by the way, 9/11, the 911 system isn't working in some cities and areas. If I'm having a heart attack, I can't call 911. I don't know. I don't want to try it out, but I can't call 911 because the system isn't working and the main system is down. They don't have a backup 911 system. And down here, I tried to call the hospital, and the hospital says if you want to reach us, you have to call 911. So I can't reach my local hospital to the emergency room unless it goes through 911. So if 911 ain't working, I can't call the emergency room. What the fudge? And so that's what's going on. So it's not just, can I get money out of the bank? So I got to go in and get some of my heart medicine this afternoon, but make sure you got your medicine, And I use a local pharmacist, and they are connected with computers, but not like CVS and some of these other people. So if you have your prescriptions and stuff through a large chain operation, you may wish to change to a local pharmacy. And sometimes they're cheaper. And you get the local economy some business to the local pharmacy. But if something happens with a big chain, you can go into the local pharmacy and their stuff is on a local hard drive. They don't share it with everybody because I asked. And so it's like, no, unless something crashes their computer, they can still get to everything. Now, a couple of months ago, they had a crash in this area and I couldn't get my meds because their computer had crashed. And they were like, we're sorry, the system's down and we're just standing here looking stupid, So, but make sure you got your meds up, make sure you got these, and try to use local, for goodness sakes. Get some cash out the bank. But that's what's going on right this minute. They're trying to make everybody go digital, and that only your face recognition and a thumbprint will do. I don't necessarily agree with that, okay? But that's what these folks behind the curtain are trying to push. I don't know how we stand up to that. And I say, go get money out of the bank. That's what I say. And if somebody won't accept my cash to buy for a purchase, I just won't purchase there, But I really need it. I don't know, So there are things that we can do to keep them from forcing us to do certain things. I was one of them folks that fought the masky thing, and the shot thingy, and So I've been a contrarian for a long time, but there are many of us who fought for that who were right in the end. And it's so, YouTube still took some of my videos down because I used the word over my face. And because I was given bad information, and they took my videos down way back when. But to the point, they're still looking to take videos down for things I said a year ago. Seriously? But that's the system, and they're paying. Um, they're still paying attention to every one of us. Now, there are folks who are trying to, they use encrypted phones and stuff like that. Okay. Now, I don't use my phone to talk about anything that it needs to be encrypted. I'm not talking in any secrets or anything, or, I don't have any plans, except to finish up my canoe, which is half full of water. I didn't turn it over. God, it's good. I'll have to bail it out to turn it over now. But, like for Mother Nature will force you into certain behaviors. It's been raining every afternoon. My canoe's full of water. I have to mow the grass. I mean, nature is such that we have to change our behaviors all the time. We have to adapt. Every single day is a minor adaptation of something. And if people are like, I don't know what I got had to do. Listen, it's life. Life is full of adventures. Life, every day is an adventure because you got to go out and do stuff, or you got to, even if you just sit home and watch a movie, that's a doing of something, right? You're thinking about something. You're contributing in some way to the universe. But so being forced into these types of behaviors, being forced into thinking that we're this close to nuclear war, which in some instances we are. And if we go into nuclear war, we're all just screwed. Don't worry about it. Have some food on hand, have some of this. Money ain't going to matter. What matters to me is my tools. I have plenty of tools. Okay. And if you're going to have anything that you want to invest in tools. My friend Barry invested in a pond where he has different types of fish growing. He can go out and go fishing and help supplement his dietary, and it's his pond, his location. He has certain control of the water goes into his pond. And so he's in control of his environment right there. And so take control of your environment, whatever it might be. You might not be able to dig a pond, but there are people who are complaining about not having enough water. Good gracious almighty, get some 5-gallon buckets and stick them around in your yard. They'll fill up. And you can always put something over the top to keep the skeeters from growing in them. But if you need extra water for your garden or something, you can have 5-gallon buckets out in your garden sitting, filling up when it's raining. And then later on, you can take them same 5-gallon buckets and use them to water your garden in a week or two when you might not have any rain. It's like there are such simple things that people can do. Was that Travis I seen? Hey, buddy. Susie Q, I think I saw you in there. Hi to you too. Blessings to all y'all. Always. These last few days and after, that last Saturday thing, I was like, what really would have happened? Where would we be right now? Travis? Yeah. Hi there. So as I've stated and still believe, and I've listened to some other people too, they say, like the people that were at that rally, there are people who were aware of the situation. There's a guy on the roof, he's got a gun. And then there were people sitting on top of the building next door who couldn't see. And people are, the line of sight thing. Now, it just so happened to that row of trees, by the way. So the two guys on the first roof really didn't have a clear shot at the guy. It was on the next roof over of the second sniper who actually got him, by the way. So in anything that you do, you got to have a clear shot. That's what I mean. So, in deciding what you're going to do in life, have a clear shot. Now, there are things that get in the way of that, like trees and things. and nature and a storm, or somebody comes over and you don't expect, like what happened the other day. But I was glad to see all these folks, but it was like, y'all just chose today to just show up at my house. Well, we just wanted to come and see you. Nothing wrong with that, mind you. It's just they all showed up one right after the other on the same day. And I was like, my point is, it wasn't expected, you see. So you say it interrupts your day. Well, don't mind visiting with my friends. Don't get me wrong. But the things that I did have planned, I spent, with them. Not a problem, but I didn't get my chores done. You know what I mean? And then the next day it rained. And then, so that's why my canoe is half full of water. Shame on me, right? But, and that's a poor excuse, but that's basically, I got interrupted with my stuff. So we get interrupted all the time when we least expect it. Now you can go days, weeks, months without being interrupted, and then one day out of the blue, ding, so in life stuff happens. So, but what have we learned over the last 10 days? Now I listened to the RNC, I listened to the speeches. And people want to say, do you believe any of them people? And my answer is yes, sort of. And they go, but why do you believe any of them people on the RNC ticket? Because they're fed up like I am. Let's face it, they're fed up like I am. I'm fed up with this mess. So you say, well, but I used to be a Democrat. I used to be at one time I voted for Biden, back when in the Obama days. What a mess. I regret that. But we learn from things, right? We're supposed to, as we get older, as we age, we're supposed to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the Creator. The knowledge, the wisdom. But I think it just goes right over most people's heads. Where's your wisdom? What have you learned from previous events in your life? Well, I don't know. Are you paying attention? Well, I don't know. Look, I smoke weed. Okay, I've admitted it for years. Okay, been busted, blah, blah, blah. I had 10 marijuana plants in 5-gallon buckets, and they had a Huey helicopter over me with a guy with a high-powered weapon sitting in the doorway. But there's a presidential rally, thousands of people there, and they don't have a drone. What? They don't have a drone in the sky. The shooter had a drone in the sky. I had a Huey helicopter over my head with a loudspeaker saying, if you move, we will shoot you. I'm an old hippie in the woods. But they had a Huey helicopter over me. But in a national rally, they couldn't afford a drone? What? So we, as the conspiracy theorists, are being channeled, and our behaviors are being, they're trying to focus them. Speaking of, yeah, I got to refill mine. I'm pretty much smoking the bottom of the bowl. I'm actually smoking the bowl. Shame on me. But so I'm trying to think. The everything's free, right? You can get up to $200 from Dave. Well, I wish I had $200 to give you, but but what's the catch? What's the thing? So they're going to get people so relied on, well, I got Dave. I can go get $50. I can go, have broccoli in the checkout line that I don't like, and the commercial. It's $79, and I only got is $25. Well, dumbass, you can't count. So they're forcing people into thinking certain ways. Well, if I don't have enough money, I'll just call Dave, or I'll get my child, or I can get up to $100 when I was growing up, if you ran out of money, you had to go sell bottles, you had to go sell cans, you had to go grovel at somebody's feet to give you $20 till payday. Nowadays, oh, just get Dave. Oh, just get this. Oh, that is funneling people's behaviors. No, yes, it is. How many people are becoming dependent on it? You see what I'm saying? They are making you dependent upon things. So everybody's got everything in their cell phone. Okay, but your cell phone goes down, or the system isn't working. Then what do you got? I got a checkbook. I can still write checks. I got cash. I got this. I can put my hands on this. So many people are talking to me, well, Dave, have you ever invested in gold? What about this for your retirement? Well, I never made enough money to put in for my retirement. Social Security is supposed to be that, which, by the way, Trump says he's going to save us from. And by deporting people who are on our Social Security system, which shouldn't be there, by putting people back to work again, which will automatically pay into the Social Security system to save it, because that was the whole deal. A portion of everybody's checks goes into the Social Security system to maintain the system. So at 13, they took money out of my checks until I was 62 years old. All right. And so I guess I'll be 10 this year. I'll be 10 years. I'll be retired. Doesn't seem that long, but the idea they're forcing people, Trump even said, he said, I will not raise the age on Social Security for people. I think it was 65. I think they moved it, but he said, I will not move it an inch, not a day, not a week, not a month, he said. Now there are people who say, oh, he's going to kill Social Security. No, what he's going to do, he's going to kill, not kill, but he's going to remove those people who have been placed on Social Security, like a bunch of immigrants, who shouldn't be on it. Social Security is supposed to be for us old people. Social Security is supposed to be if a young man like the gentleman who got killed yeah, me too, Barry. I was 13. I was working at the 99er restaurant as a dishwasher. I remember it clearly because I used to look around and swipe food off of the tray as before I cleaned it off. I mean, it wouldn't be touched. There'd be a big old bunch of something, and I'd look around. I'd be the But so shameful, eating garbage, eating off of somebody else's plate. When you're hungry, you'll do about anything. And at the time, I didn't know I had worms. But anyway, that's another story. But still, at 13, they were taking out Social Security. So people now, if they're in self-employed, a lot of times, as I was self-employed, I did not pay into Social Security, and that's my fault, because when I lost my big job and I was doing part-time jobs, I should have been paying into my Social Security, because at the end of it all, I suffered from it. So for all the entrepreneurs out there, good job, but pay into Social Security. You might have your own business and everything, and you got 1 or 2, maybe 3 employees. Make sure they pay into the Social Security. You got to. We got to keep the system going so it doesn't collapse. But the other thing is, so there'll be money for them people when they get my age. Hopefully they'll make it. So, but you know, people, well, with Social Security, I don't want to pay into that. But then when something happens, oh, what I was going to say about the guy that got killed, his children, because he and his wife can get um, his Social Security benefits from widow's benefits, right? So not only are people, you know, sending money to the family, but if her husband had died of natural causes, she could still, because she's the spouse, she could get his Social Security benefits. And you say, well, what's wrong with, well, because it might be your mama. As a child, there are certain children who were able to get so much a month from Social Security, and they were covered by Medicare, that until they reached 18 or 17, 18, you know, of legal age, they got a check from Social Security from their father who passed away. All right. So it's like, so what good is Social Security? It's really good in a lot of ways. And a lot of people who have paid into the system legally benefit from it in these different ways. But these migrant folks, who the Biden folks who have been, you know, what are we going to do with them? How are we going to, they put them on Social Security. They are forcing us into this. This is how it should be. And my friends, this is not how it should be. If you can't feel a change in the air, we need to take control of our own situation. Well, Mr. Dave, what do you mean by that? You have to take control, make a decision. If you want to go with them folks over there, if you want to listen to mainstream media and have your mind boggled and channeled into what they want you to believe, think for yourself. Think for yourself. Listen to the speech yourself. Listen to these other people and determine. Don't allow yourself to listen to mainstream media because they're giving a false narrative. Absolutely. And well, I don't believe you. You're one of them conspiracy. No, they really are truly giving you false information. I've proven it to myself too many times. I watch a speech, then I watch the news, and they don't report anything near what the speech was. Not just Trump, but other people. If they don't like you, they're gonna, you know, look at the View, look at Whoopi Goldberg. Them women ought to be taken out and slapped. Somebody needs to go in there and slap Whoopi Goldberg. Somebody, I mean, just bitch, hold still. Bap. You know, and it should be a woman that does it. There you go. You know, there's several women who would love to slap Whoopi Goldberg, you know. Okay, hold on. Started. So, but anyway, just from her behavior and some of the off-color things, literally off-color things she said, you know, should we be attention to her? But there are people who like Whoopi. There are people who like The View. I can't understand why. But that they're trying to take these people, especially women, and try to get them to think a certain way. Now, one of the things that I noticed at the RNC convention, okay, and if you don't believe me, go look for yourself at how many women were there. There were more women, I think, than men at the convention. In some instances, it almost looked like a 2-to-1. But there were absolutely, aloha, there were absolutely more women at the convention than men. But women, women hate Trump. Women don't like the Republicans. Women are Democrats and women are liberals and women are women who can make up their own damn mind. That's my opinion. Y'all ladies can make up your own mind. But there were so many women there at the RNC, nobody said a word. There, dare I say, there were a lot of colored folk there. And I mean, not just, African American, black folks. I mean, of different colors and nationalities. I mean, the vice president's wife is from, is from the United States, but their family's from India, right? I mean, come on. So diversity, they talk about how the Republican Party is racist. I guess I'm a Republican now, but how the Republicans are all racist, and how, we all hate each other, and, the women in the black communities are, who is that? Don't know. But so the lies, the folks are trying to formulate your minds. But when you listen and watch the people and how the people are interacting with each other, there are so many people who are talking about, man, that was like, and I've watched conventions since, I was a teenager, the 1968 convention. I remember when Robert Kennedy got shot. I remember the turmoil it sent through the Democratic Party and across the planet, really, but more the United States. I remember that. And so this one, to see all of these people agreeing, all of these people saying, we have had enough. Now you say, well, what about this? What programs and things exist, are created, and then I'm going to use the word manipulated, but they are manipulated into becoming businesses. In other words, you got to get in touch with somebody. You got to have a building. You got to have resources. Then you got to have people. Then you got to have this. So you have to manipulate things to get everything together to be a group or a business or whatever. So there's going to be a lot of manipulation. And I don't mean bad. I just mean a lot of, figuring out how to get things done. I would have been there, too busy crocheting. So they're trying to squeeze everybody into this thought pattern, right? And we don't let them do it. I'm here to just warn you that they're trying to do it. And I say trying because if you don't go along with it, then they haven't succeeded. So that means they're still trying to do it. You know what I mean? But actually, they are doing it. They have been trying to influence in different ways through commercials and through this and that for a long time. So, for those folks, out there, and they're of a mindset, when you look at them, you go, they're crazy. They have been brainwashed. The people who say, no, Biden and the Democrats and Kamala Harris would make a beautiful president. Are you serious? Have you really, honest to God, listened to that woman? What have been shall be from what has been. What can be is from that which you've let go. This thing, and she uses her hands. And are you freaking serious? Are you nuts? You think that's good? You want that woman to be the president? Well, she's black and she's a woman. She'll be the first. Yeah, she'll be the first one to do. But the thing is that the manipulation that's going on behind the scenes. That's the deal. So the folks at the White House didn't know that Biden had withdrawn and was, they found out by reading TikTok. The folks at the White House weren't told that Biden was stepping down. Are you serious? That's how these people act. So they found out by reading social mail, and they went, what? Biden's dropping out, but I work here at the White House. Nobody told us. The cook's in the kitchen going, what? What? So that's how these folks are acting and reacting. I said years ago, I said, the chaos is going to increase. I said that, that there was going to be a lot of different ways, highs and lows and highs and lows, and to find yourself an inner tube and get yourself in it and hang on for the ride. Are y'all got your inner tubes? And if you don't think that the chaos is worse than it was like a week ago, it's worse than it was 2 days ago, And then after watching Congress grill the, Secret Service lady, she should have, while she was sitting there, she should have wrote out her resignation right there. There wasn't one person on either side that supported her. Nobody. Not one person said, well, you've done a really good job. Well, it's, and and so when they brought up the fact that there was a 5 foot tall woman with her arms wrapped around the president now, mind you, but that maybe that should have been a guy. Oh, but that's not diversity, but she's too short. Oh, let's give midgets a chance to protect the president. Let's make sure that they can jump on top of each other, so this idea of the DEI and that women should have the same, whatever, they want to make 30% of the Secret Service women. 30%. Now, I'm sorry. I think that should be, unless this gal is like 6 foot. If you're 5'2" with eyes of blue and you're applying to the Secret Service, you might get a desk job, but you ain't going in the field. Sorry. You're just not physically inclined to be. Basketball. Little short basketball players don't really work out. You got to be at least 5'10", you got to be, you don't get 5'2" basketball players much, right? They don't get hired by the NBA. So in the same instance, you don't hire a 5'2" woman to protect a 6'3" president elect. No, it's common sense. And that's something else Trump talked about in his speech. He said, I want to bring America back to common sense. And I was like, hell yeah. So the idea that, so she was really defensive. Well, the DEI has nothing to do, and you're trying to no, we're criticizing the fact that there was a 5'2" woman trying to protect a 6'3" guy. That's the issue. Not that she was a woman, but that there should be certain criteria. And I'm sorry, if you're playing basketball and you're working for our team, we want you to be at least 5'10". That's all. Minimum requirement, 5'10". You can't get on this ride unless you're this tall. That's all there is to it. But and women there are plenty of places where women can work in the Secret Service. I'm not trying to deny that, but not to protect a 6'3" guy when you're 5'2". And the poor woman couldn't holster her gun. She was panicked. She was absolutely panicked. Now, here's the thing, though, I want to bring up. There was a female Secret Service lady behind her. A little thinner and blonde hair and a ponytail. But while the woman that's being criticized for not putting her gun up, this other lady had her gun put away, like, when she put her jacket back over, and the other lady still trying to holster her pistol. Whatever it was with that lady, they need to take her out of critical positions because she obviously has issues working under stress. Not that she can't do the job, but I mean, if you can't, honest to God, holster your pistol, because I don't have a pistol, I don't have a holster, but I think I could find it. I've got an imaginary one on my hip. I could find that some bitch. You know, you couldn't find your, but because she was in a panic mode. So I think she needs to be moved to another place that's not near, put her by the first lady, you know, um, but not by a 6'3" tall person. So, but see, we're being forced into thinking that this poor woman has been put in this situation because she's a secret service person. So now she has to protect the president when she does. She's only 6'4". So what does she do? You can see her as she's coming down the stairs. She's got her hands around his waist, holding on for dear life. Like, oh my God, And so it's not like she wasn't doing her job. She just wasn't qualified because of physical constraints. I'm sorry, you can't put a midget in the NBA. I've known short people. They're lovely folks. But that's why they have midget basketball. Come on. So they want to be inclusive with everyone, everywhere. And that's just not right. So some of these Congress people were actually stating that. And then there was this back lady that got really pissed. You're talking about you're against women and you're against how she got black folk in there. I don't know. But this bald black woman was talking about, and all of you people here, all you do is talk about how the inadequacies of the DEI. And it was like, they were talking about height. They were talking about what is applicable in certain situations. If somebody's having a baby, most of the time you don't send guys in. Okay. You go, no, this is a woman's job. No. And the women now, there are men, doctors, that deliver babies. Not my point. But if there was just a crowd of people and a woman said, oh, I'm having a baby, the guys would scatter and the women would, coalesce around this birth thingy. Birth thingy? God, my apologies. But to the point though, so in this instance, 5'2" woman, she might be a little taller, but it looked like she was about 5'2", is trying to protect the president. That's not the right place for this situation. And somebody needs to use some freaking common sense and put things right. So in America, what's wrong? There isn't any common sense. Yeah, woman, stop. That's it. It's cute. But I mean, but it's true. Back in the days of the Westerns, oh, I'm having a baby. All the women are like, ooh, they'd be coming out of the saloon and the guys would be like, whoa, Charlie, let's have another drink at the bar, So, oh, we're coming up on a time and I need a refill. But, and I got a new flavor the other day. But so they're trying to force us into these thought patterns. Oh, I do have to take this. Will y'all hang on a minute? Hello?
Hello, this is WellCare calling for David. No, is this David?
Yes.
Great. If you'd like, we can continue this call in English. O podemos continuar esta llamada en español. Please press 1 for English. O presione para continuar. All right. This call may be recorded for quality assurance. We have an important reminder about your medication. Please say yes or no. May I continue?
Yes.
Okay. Since we want to make sure we're speaking with the right person, we need to confirm the date you were born. For example, June 28th, 1950. Please tell me the date you were born now.
September 1952.
I apologize. I did.
they can call me back. Something about my meds. Anyway, but so trying to get you to think a particular way, right? Trying to formulate what you're thinking, trying to formulate what the New Deal is. And I gotta say, and I will listen to the Democratic RNC too. Now, don't get me wrong. I have to, as a watcher, I have to watch both sides. And I'm not really looking forward to it. You know what I mean? But because listening to their rhetoric at, right now, everything Trump mentioned Biden once in his speech. And he goes, I'm not going to talk about him. I'm not, And so, hello and favor right back at you. Is that Mossy Man? I have to get glasses. I got till 6 o'clock to get to the pharmacy. Yeah, it is Mossy Man. Okay. And my cataracts are getting worse too. It's getting cloudier to see. Not a complaint, it just is. Am I a Virgo? I'm on the cusp, darling. The 24th of September is 1 or 2 days, depending on the year, of the autumnal equinox. But I'm classified as a Libra, but barely. I mean, like, and Libras and Virgos don't get along, what is the topic? My topic is how they're brainwashing us, Mossy Man. How they're literally brainwashing. And it's heavy duty right now. They're picking on Iran. They really want a war with Iran because, Israel wants it. Some of them, the underlying, them folk are, they have wanted it for quite a while now. Trump in his speech talked about it. He goes, I wouldn't let him get away with it when I was president. And Biden does this deal. And now Hamas has got all this money and backing. And he said it would have never happened with me. Now, believe him or not, but he really does want peace. He doesn't want war. You can just, after getting shot in the head, the guy has changed. His demeanor has changed. And a lot of people are talking about how, getting shot in the head and taking part of your ear off is like a sort of a monumental thing in your life, You can sit down in your quiet time, or maybe you're sitting on the toilet and going, God almighty, that was close, And when he was in Michigan and having his speech, he goes, he said, it's been 1 week from today. And he looked at the audience and you could see he looked up a little bit and he goes, I'm not supposed to be here. And you could see his eyes kind of shift a little bit and he goes, I'm not supposed to be here today with you all. And the thought of that and the fact that it's in his head. I was almost dead. The guy behind me got, holy crap. Not a joke. People are literally not just, verbally trying to take me out. They're trying to kill me. And so people, though, on the Democrat side, which I used to be a part of, remember, they won't listen to the sincerity in his voice. They won't look at his eyes and go, there's something different about the guy. But what does he want? He wants to make America great again. So therefore, I am still a terrorist. I'm still a terrorist. Ooh, it's 20. I was filling it up while you all couldn't see. But oh, the camera. But so there's so many things that are going on behind the camera. You know what I mean? And they're somehow the congressional inquiry today, I watched the whole thing, okay? And Democrats or Republicans, they grilled that lady. And she wouldn't answer some of the most simplest questions. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, you know, you should be removed right now for the safety of your the rest of the, you know, the Social Security. It starts with SS. The Secret Service. What? Yeah, so even the Democrats were like, you don't, you know, the one guy said, if you worked for me, you would have already been fired because of certain things. And because you haven't told us the truth when you know the truth, and you haven't, you know, been open when you said you would. I mean, you perjured yourself several. I mean, it went on and on and on. So, but they hammered her. They hammered her. They did not let up either side. So, people on both sides have had enough. And that's what is changed in America, for example. They have been trying to force us into certain ways of thinking, and people call it waking up, call it being woke, unwoke, red pill, blue pill, doesn't matter. The folks that people have had enough, the straw that broke the camel's back, you know, I mean, folks watching going, there are people who don't even want to talk about this. This is a conspiracy. I could tell just by looking at it. This is a conspiracy. People on the ground at the rally going, this is a conspiracy. How did this happen? People all over the United States, this is and then the director of the Secret Service refused to answer questions to the congressional bipartisan, you know, inquiry. People have had enough. This is our chance, folks. People have had enough. Now, regardless of the person, well, it's Donald Trump. Okay, all right, okay. He's just a CEO, all right? But what about the rest of us? The rest of us people who feel that we've had enough. Well, he's just the CEO, okay? It's like the elephant in the room. Oh, God. And a really big, freaking pink bull elephant, you know? What's that over there, Charlie? I don't know. It looks like a freaking pink, big bull elephant to me. You know, okay. Ooh, ooh. Happy 20, everybody. So, what do we do in this situation? So, you know, there are many of us who are aware that, oh my God, they're trying to get me to think this way. That's what we need to point out to folks. We don't need to say, well, do you see what we need to point out? Do you see they're trying to get us to all think like this? Well, what do you mean? Well, I don't mean Democrat or Republican now. All right. But I haven't really used that term much. But that the Republicans from the convention, my point is, they have all had enough. Which side do you want to be on? The side that's had enough, or the side that wants to make it worse? You think Kamala Harris is going to be better? You know, it's the people behind her. Obama has even stated, I wish that I, you know, had somebody I could stick in the White House and I could just sit home in my, you know, in my pajamas and rule the country. He has said that publicly in interviews. What do you think's going on? And back in the day, there were many of us who knew that Obama had ties to guess who? Obama, 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 the lobotomy. So why is things in the Middle East weird? Why is Joe Biden and wanting to start a war? Why is all this? Well, the ties from Obama. Okay. Why are they going to start a war? Because these people, I mean, remember they sent billions of dollars over on pallets and delivered it to the bad guys. Remember? Folks don't remember that shit, right? But remember, I wished I had some of that money. I'd get my roof fixed, you know. But there are people who just haven't been paying attention to the truth. All right. Just it's there. But because people will only watch this news program, but because people will only listen to Mad Cow, what's her name? Maddox, you know, the crazy person. They will only listen to The View. They will only listen to these people. They will only listen to Morning Joe. I mean, remember, they took Morning Joe off the air because they were afraid of what he was going to say the day after the assassination attempt. You know, they took him off the air, wouldn't let him because they were afraid they were going to say something controversial. And they did. The next day, right? But so there are people higher up that, my point is, they know what they're doing. They know they're trying to formulate people into thinking certain ways, but even them, they were like, maybe we shouldn't let them on the air today because it just might not be appropriate, you know? Morning Joe's like him and Malinsky girl over there, Brzezinski, you know, oh my God, we were taken off the air. Did they dock your pay? No? What are you worried about? You know, so you took the morning off. You sat back and watched the news, you know, big deal. Well, it could have been us. And yeah, and you could have stuck your foot in your mouth too. Like Black Jack and them folks, you know, Jack Black, Black Jack. Anyway. So people overreacting on the other side. Oh, wish he would have got shot. I don't think so. Really? Now, here's something that's really creepy if y'all don't know. There was a UFO in the sky behind Trump and the stands with, at last count, was 5 orbs flying around. Richard, how you doing? Doing as good as possible, brother. And you can see it. You know, I don't know which frame it is, but it's in the sky. And you can look it up. There's other folks who have, you know, isolated the video. But there is absolutely a UFO in the background. Now, years ago, when Trump was president, there was a picture of Air Force One flying along, and it was like taken from a trailing airplane, and with a, sure enough, round UFO off to the starboard side, the right, starboard, right? And I mean, just flying along with Air Force One. And so we talk about whether or not there was any intervention, spiritual intervention or whatever. But to me, with the UFO sitting back there, what if somebody just gave him a little, just a little push, nudged him out of the way at the last, literally at the last second? And so is there divine intervention? I would venture to say, yeah. But that divine intervention might be in the form of a spaceship, okay? Which I believe in the Christus and the angel folk and all, and they travel in the universe in spaceships, okay? But so to have a spaceship there on the day that he was almost killed, just like, wait a minute, maybe there is really, honest to God, somebody looking out for him, and it ain't the Secret Service, you know? So it's like, so what about this? And why am I bringing this up? Because other folks ain't talking about this. They talked about how and Trump has admitted, he said, I wouldn't be here by the grace of God. By the grace of God. Now, and he is declaring that by the grace of God. So they have been trying to brainwash us. And by the grace of God, honestly now, by the grace of God, we have been spared some of it. We have woken up to things. We have been allowed to see through the veil of lies. That's a blessing to all of us here, you know, and within our community. And I don't just mean you subscribers and you dear friends of mine, but I mean in general to the folks who are looking at this from a different point of view. They're all looking and going, what? So I've heard only a couple of phrases, and trust me, in the last week, I have flipped through a bunch of stuff. I've listened to more things than I, in a way, more care to listen to, but I've learned some interesting things along the way. So different points of view, trajectories, and, you know, I don't know if there was 2 shooters, but I can absolutely say somebody helped that kid. Somebody helped him. Somebody didn't look. Some Jedi, somebody was like, don't look here. Somebody, and I don't know if it was intentional, but I do. Robert, how you doing? I do believe it was intentional in that somehow he was allowed to get away with it. Okay. Somehow those few seconds, and like I said, I don't know if it was on purpose, a hesitation, but the question to the Secret Service director was, they saw him 40 seconds before he fired. So what are the rules of engagement? She said there are none. You mean he didn't have to wait? Somebody didn't say hold, or somebody didn't say wait? She goes, no. The protocol is that if there's danger, then he could take the shot. So now here's the thing. They said, well, he was a suspect. Well, we saw him, you know, wandering around with a rangefinder, you know, suspect. We saw him with a bicycle and a backpack, suspect. That's all on the list of things that the Secret Service are supposed to look at, right? So all these suspected things. So several Congress people, men and women were really strong. They said, so when did he leave from being just a suspect to being, you know, we need to take care of this guy. We need to intervene. And she would not give an answer. Not at all. She said, well, after those first few shots, then the sniper took the shot. What? So, but all this time, this person had to get around and get up. Somebody wasn't talking, and I don't necessarily mean it was on purpose. But what was on purpose is they did not cover that rooftop. That's a positive. I'm a dummy. I would have been up on the rooftop. I'd have volunteered. You know, I'll sit up there, you know, just to keep somebody else from getting up there, you know, but I'll sit up there, you know, I'll take a chair and, oh my God, the slope of the roof. They questioned her about that, and she just sat there like an idiot. Well, what about the slope of the roof? Was that important? Well, do you have a protocol for the slope of the roof? What about the other snipers who were on a roof that had a 1-in-4 slope where the roof where the shooter was a 1-in-4, you know, a really shallow roof, shallower than where the snipers, you know, the what? She just sat there. So, and I watched the Merrick Garland when they questioned him, and he kept telling lies and coming up and double talk. Every time they asked this lady a question, she'd go, "Well, you know, there's FBI's got an investigation." They go, "We asked you a question." "Well, it's under investigation." "You can't tell us how many, what?" "It's under investigation." She dodged almost every question, every major question. And most of the major questions were like, how the FBI told you how many shell casings they found on the roof. Yes or no? Yes. So you know how many shell casings were on the roof? Yes. The FBI told you? Yes. This was Marjorie Taylor Greene, by the way. And she said, yes. So she said, then how many were on the roof? She goes, I can't tell you. What? I mean, you could hear the rest of the Congress people going, what? So the FBI told you personally how many shell casings, simple question, how many shell casings are on the roof, and you won't give us an answer. You're the director of the Secret Service. It's been 9 days since the event, and you can't tell us how many shell casings were on the roof, which would say how many shots he fired, right? Whether or not the conspiracy is a second shooter, right? The lady behind Trump with the sign, and when she took her phone out while all the bullets were going off, that lady needs to be questioned heavily. They need to put her in a room with a light and go, okay, what's going on? That was not normal behavior, you know? So, but there's still, even after we all witnessed this, thousands of people witnessed it in person. Millions of people have watched the slow motion, they've seen the bullet go past his head. All of this is out there, and she wouldn't make a remark about anything. So Marjorie Taylor Greene leaned in and said, so what are you hiding? And she said, I'm not hiding anything. Then why don't you tell us how many shell casings? Well, it's under investigation by the FBI. But you talked to the FBI director. He told you how many, and you can't relate. Nope, can't talk about it. So several of the Congress people said, you know, none of us here trust the FBI. We were hoping that you, being the Secret Service director, would come in and actually tell us the truth. And you won't do it. We're going to send a letter to the president asking him to fire you. That's what they all said. Resign today. We want you fired. So that lady needs to, you know, Miss Cheadle. What? Interesting name for Cheadle. She's cheating them all, but anyway. So this is going on. Oh, it's political. No, it's not. Well, maybe. What is that it shows how deep the deep state is. That the chief of the Secret Service can't answer to a Congress by subpoena. By the way, she wouldn't come on her own. And she said, well, it's going to take 60 days for the end of, you know, for the end of the investigation. They were all like, 60 days, that's not good enough. Well, in 60 days, I'll give you an answer. No, you won't. That's because in 60 days, that's halfway to the election, and we ain't having it. So why am I saying? Because they're all trying to get you to think about this. They're all trying to squeeze your brains in. And here's the director of the Secret Service trying to squeeze our brains. And thank God, thank you, Jesus, thank you, whoever, that none of them took it. Not one of them took it. So we've all had it up to here. Now, depending on who they put into the Democratic position, which side do you want to be on? And it's not about Trump, I'm telling you. It's about the people, all of the millions of people, Elon Musk, all these other people are putting money into it. They all want to make America great again. That's the thing. Is it about Trump? He's going to be our CEO. But it's all about us. And even Trump stressed this. It's about you people. You are the workers. I'm going to give you all jobs back in Michigan, he said. I've been to Detroit. I worked for a company. My job was taken away because of NAFTA. I lost a really good paying job as an engineer to NAFTA, you know, and that screwed up everything. So I know what's going on. I've been a part of the automobile industry. I've been in engine plants and up in Ford and across the river, the lake over there into Canada, and been to that Ford engine plant over there. But see, if Canada's importing things and they're made literally right across the river, like 10 miles from Detroit, they're making the engines to go and stuff. So they won't make them in America because cost too much. Labor's too much. There's too much this. But all the infrastructure is still there in Detroit. You should see all of the buildings where they used to build cars that are just standing idle. That's why they call it a rust bucket area in Detroit. But, you know, so Trump's like, I want to bring cars back. I want the automotive industry to flourish again, which means there are people going to have to supply rubber parts. People are going to have to supply electrical components. People are going to have to supply metal, steel, aluminum. I mean, this isn't just about the workers of Michigan. It's about how this spreads out. Because when we lost our jobs to Mexico there in Tifton, there were 100 different manufacturers and businesses that were affected by those plants closing down. So it's not just a couple of people in a plant. No, it's the community, because all of us spent money in the community and now it wasn't there. We bought extra pieces. We bought supplies. We bought paper products. We bought, computer parts and toners and then so all that business dried up on the local level. So it hurt the economy of Tifton in that area a lot, plus the people who work there. So this idea of, Trump is mean, Trump is Hitler. He wants to bring manufacturing back again, like he tried the first time. Biden is just, everything is China and everything's this and that, everything's got to be electric or what else, or, listen, we can still build gas guzzling cars because there are different things to use in the combustion engine that you can still make a car. An electric engine with the batteries, you're stuck. You're stuck. That's all there is to it. You can't try another type of fuel. You can't use dope. It's a battery or nothing. So he realizes that. Many of us have realized there's no way in the next 6 years that the entire United States is going to change to batteries. It's not gonna work. So he wants to put people back to work again. We can still build efficient cars. We can still build hybrids. We can still build high mileage vehicles without them being battery powered and still be good to the environment. But no, so the Biden folks have all got this. It's got to be this or nothing at all. All vehicles are bad. That's not true. All of these are bad. That's not true. Think about all the battery waste when you take them out and you have to throw them away. What do? You've got some toxic chemicals, okay? And so, plus it costs a lot of money for the batteries. It costs a lot to make them. There's all these things about the batteries. When, combustion engines have been proven to be run off of different types of fuel. So don't bullshit me, it's all about emissions. They've got emissions down so much right now. They don't talk about EPA emissions, but they're so stringent on the new cars. You could just about breathe out the tailpipes. And some of these new engines and other designs and stuff they've got, that they might just get water out the tailpipe because of being able to use hydrogen. So to build the car industry back up, change it over to hydrogen, which would be really easy and would be actually more cost effective to build little hydrogen service stations than trying to build and or maintain some type of electrical recharge system, which is stupid. Oh, I got to stop every so many miles and plug in. Well, what if somebody's sitting there? Well, I got to wait. Well, I'm supposed to be there. I got a meeting. Well, tough shit. Got to charge my car. This is stupid. So, but like Trump said, he said, I'm all for electric cars. It's just not all of them. If I've been to Wyoming, you can drive and drive, you'll drive your ass off before you get anywhere. You need to have gas. You need to have gasoline. You better fill up over here, in South Dakota before you start riding across Wyoming, because there ain't nothing there. So, but it's instances like this, so it's not practical. So part of Trump's thing was, we gotta think practical. And that's, to me, common sense has been my, when I worked as an engineer, some of the stuff they made that was too complicated. And I said, we got to get the job done. We got to use some common sense and not overthink it. So there are people who are trying to overthink this thing. Having worked in the car industry and so forth, and, building the stuff that we did, having been in engine plants and all that, and talked with Ford engineers and Nissan and Honda and all of them, right? I had a little piece in talking with all of them because of what I did. So, but the idea that, that electric is the only way is just, so that's why Honda and some of these other folks have been working on different types of fuel systems for their engines, and also different types of engines that did not require batteries. It uses hydrogen. Okay, you can make hydrogen by taking water and electrode and the gases that come off of one of them is hydrogen, because H2O, H meaning hydrogen and 2 oxygen. That's what makes water. So you siphon off the H and you just leave the oxygen. We've known about this for a long time. So Trump understands this. Trump's uncle was a professor at MIT. So Trump has more knowledge about this stuff than Biden and their cronies, because he's like, but we can use these technologies, put people back to work again, put faith back in America again. And use technology we sort of already got, but introducing newer stuff to make our old technology work great. Ooh, rather than switching everything over because of some mandate. And the point is the rest of the world trying to do it? No. Because they're trying to force us into thinking this way. We must have electrical or it's not going to work. And I've seen those giant windmills. When I was up in Ohio, they've got I think they got 2 of them behind the Honda plant there. And I sat there and watched them, and there wasn't a bit of wind when I watched them. And I sat there and I watched them and I watched them, and they did not change how fast they were rotating. There was no air. I mean, you could take dirt and, do this thing and it would drop straight to the ground. Here is this giant windmill that's, you can hear it. You can hear the whoosh as it goes by. And I'm like, so there are some of my neighbors and friends and relatives up there going, we don't think that those turbines are doing anything. They're just for looks. And I was like, what? And they were like, because we've seen some really high winds come through our neighborhood. They had a tornado that literally went by the Honda plant and tore up a bunch of the neighborhood there. I mean, like within blocks of my sister. This has been a couple of months ago. I mean, wiped them out. And she said, the windmills did not speed up at all. They did not increase in their revolution, you know, they just kept going. And there were high speeds. There were 70-mile downdraft speeds. There was a freaking tornado went by and the wind turbine didn't change speed at all. That to me is just suspicious. Along with all the people on the ground going, what the hell's up with that windmill? We had 70-mile-an-hour winds. And it just went plump, plump, plump. So there's stuff that people are trying to rely on. I'm not against alternative energies. I've got solar panels out there in the yard. I charge my batteries for my boat with solar chargers. I am not against it one iota, but I am all for conservation of the electricity that we get. And, you know, the amount of coal that's under the United States is amazing, okay? And you say coal, but you know what? They took out a bunch of coal plants and replaced them with, you know, contaminated water, all right? Because, yeah, oh, it's a nuclear plant, yes. But every time you have one of them nuclear plants, they have contaminated water. What? Oh, when it gets too hot and they have to off gas into the atmosphere, which happens because I've checked the nuclear plant that's over on the Georgia-Alabama line. It is off gassed many times. And guess what? I'm downwind from it. So it sends up these radiation in the atmosphere because it got vented before it blows up. And it goes zzz, and comes right over and lands on me. It does happen. So the answer partially is we do better with those. They're smaller units than these great big, you know, the Savannah power plant kind of thing was so stupid. It still is. Put a lot of people to work. You know, it's a great big giant concrete thing. You know, if you've ever been to, I guess you folks up in the Northeast, you've got a couple of, you know, nuclear power plants up there. Every time I go south to meet relatives and so forth in Tampa, I got to go by the big nuclear power plant down there. There's 2 of them, you know, as one plant. Right there on the Gulf of Mexico, you know, near the Swanee River. I'm trying to think of the name of the little town there, but anyway, got to go through it, got to go right past it. Ooh, look, there's a nuclear power plant. Whee! Look at all the smoke and steam coming off. Whee! You know, anybody dying of cancer down here? Whee! You know, anyway. You know, we got to keep the population in check. So, but the thing is that I had friends of mine who were working with clean air and working with this, that, and the other thing. And back in the late 90s, there was so much concern environmentally about coal dust, coal fumes, anything from any manufacturer that was going up a pipe. They were putting, and I knew some folks, engineers in the business. I didn't know them well, but I'd met them, you know, and talked on the phone kind of thing. But they were making these honeycombed ceramic, different types of metal, like a catalytic converter in your car, okay? And that these actually slip into the tailpipes of the company, the smokestacks. So they were putting these honeycomb things into the smokestacks to collect all the sulfur and all the bad stuff that was going up the smokestack. So when people were saying, oh, look at all that nasty stuff coming out, most of it was actually steam. some particulates, but mostly not. So they were had figured out how to get like 85% of the stuff out of the fumes going up the pipe. And they found out that by taking 85% out in this filter, it still had to allow stuff to go through. So it had to be honeycombed, and so it had to trap the particles. Really, really ingenious, but really complicated. You still had to let the air through, you know? So it had to act like a filter, but it had to catch all the nasties. So they were using palladium and all these different types of metals and things to attract, to act as magnets for all the bad stuff in the fumes and in the coal. So they got 85% of it out in the filters, but some of the other particulates that they couldn't capture because of the size of the smokestack, and because they had taken out many of the things that help create lift, there were 5% other particulates that just fell out. And the smoke that came out had only 10% of any kind of bad stuff. And that 10%, a lot of it would fall out within the compound of the building, kind of thing. And it was still very, before it was like 100% of crap. So they have gotten to the point where the coal furnaces, there is a boiler system that has been in business for the last 50 years up here in Coolidge. And they've used all different types of fuel for those boilers. Very efficient, okay? So there are people who've been working in these industries to improve the old industries. Oh, we need everything to be solar. No, you don't. You really don't. Because you don't. Because we've got all these other, not to say we shouldn't use it. I'm saying we shouldn't turn everything into it. Oh, we're going to have everything solar by next year. Bullshit. You're still going to be using some nuclear power plants around. And I don't know if there are any coal plants around, but we need to put some of them back online. Honest to God. I would rather deal with some coal dust after they have filtered out 85 to 90% of the bad stuff out of the smokestack, which was one of the greatest issues of using coal, rather than having radioactive material released into the atmosphere that is not at all agreeable with the environment. Some of the coal dust has got some sulfur in it. Those are actually biodegradable, but not radioactive stuff. It is not compatible with you, me, or the environment. So these folks are trying to funnel us into more nuclear. And Trump is going, we need to use some coal plants again. We need to reuse the resources we already have. Oh, but environmentalists are against that. Well, if you knew about the filters they had, if you knew about the different technologies that they've used for coal, the fact that they have gotten better with it, and the fact that if somebody were to give them a break, they actually probably could do better. So quit bitching at them and help them. Rather than, well, they're all coal bad. Ooh. Used to be able to buy coal up in Moultrie. Used to be able to use it because coal is good for, heating up metal and doing different things where you might not have natural gas. People up in the north, my granny had a coal stove. They dumped the coal down in the basement. Used to play down there when I was up in Ohio. And, so what about all them furnaces? What about all them people? But there have been improvements in the burning of it, okay? So all coal bad, all gasoline cars bad, all of the bad. No, they're trying to break you. They're trying to funnel you into only solar, only wind, and only batteries. That's our only way out of this. And it's not. It just isn't. So, oh, which side of this do you want to be on? Oh, well, I don't like Trump. Don't care. Don't care. There are a lot of people who don't like their CEO of their company. But if the company has kept them from going bankrupt, I don't like that guy. That some bitch, he's in charge of our country. He's in charge of our company, I meant to say. He's in charge of our company. All right. Whoopi Goldberg said in one of her interviews she said, don't listen to them people. Don't listen to Trump's granddaughter. Don't listen to his family. Don't listen to the people who has worked for Trump for 20 years. Don't listen to them. They're trying to feed you misinformation. Trump is the devil. Trump is Hitler. Well, there are people that, the golf clubs that he's owns, people came out and said, well, I've worked for Trump for 20 years. He gave me my opportunity. He was the one that said, hey, the one guy said, Trump told me one day I was his caddy. And he said, look, you're pretty good at this. I need somebody here that's a pro. And so the guy said, Trump said, come tomorrow dressed like a pro. And they went around golfing. He said, by the first 9 holes, Trump said, you got the job. He said, you're good enough. You got the job. And he said, I've been working for him since then. So here's this caddy working for Trump with all this money. And the guy says, show me how. And they played 9 rounds of golf. And he hired him and he's been working for him. So, but Trump is mean. He doesn't care about the working man. He doesn't care about you or me. But there are so many people that say that there is something that Trump has done to them personally to help them out. Now, there are folks that go, Trump said, was going to help this guy out. And Trump said, don't think so. And why not? Said, well, he's just not going to make it. So how do you know? He said, I can just tell by his demeanor. He doesn't really want to be a star. He doesn't really want to be he's just always going to be, like for me, I was comfortable being an engineer down here in South Georgia. People said, why don't you go to Atlanta? I don't want to go to Atlanta. It's crazy up there. Why don't you go back to Tampa? I had job offers down in Tampa as a CAD, drafter and then as an engineer. I don't want to move back down there. So my choice of living here forced me into taking jobs that I might not necessarily, and to be unemployed too. So, but here in the world of stuff, of economics, here are people who want to make us great again by following certain things. They want us to expand our thoughts, which is sort of manipulation in an opposite way. If we give you all, freedom of choice, and we give you these opportunities, like, he was talking about, new cars and building up, give them people a chance to go back to work. Give them folks a chance to make America great again by themselves, simply by making automobiles and engineers and all the people that are going to move into the neighborhoods, the barbers, the support groups of the people who live there. There's going to be an economic boom. And he's talking about doing that. I've seen it. We almost had it last time. And having been to Detroit and stuff, I don't want to repeat myself, but having seen it up close and personal, I'm like, what the hell? What the fudge? So folks are going, so I want to be on the side of progress. If we've got a CEO that's a sumbitch, that's going to be strict and say, no, I ain't putting up with this. No, we're going back to putting up the wall. No, we're going to go back to deport. This is going to be the biggest deportation since Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now, I don't know who was here during Eisenhower, but the folks that millions of people are here and we don't know what they're here for. And some of them we do. We need to lock down that sucker in a hurry, because the war is going to start with the immigration of people. My 10 cents, I don't own an AR-15. I own a powerful 22 pump air rifle. I got a crossbow. I got a hatchet. I got a knife. I got a bow and arrow, regular bow and arrow, not a crossbow. I'm worried about the folks who came across the border. Millions of people have crossed into our United States. Where is a civil war going to start? Let some of them guys get a hold of handguns. They've already been raping and murdering and stuff. So if we've got an immigrant, migrant, illegal, who is raped, killed someone, then we should hang them in the public square for all the other immigrants to see. Because how are you going to get their attention? You do a public hanging, execution, because he executed this child, 12-year-old child in one instance, right? Execute that some bitch where he tied the girl, put up a post, hang him right there, and just leave him. People going to bitch. People going to, oh, look at that. They're going to take pictures. Folks are going to come by. It's going to become like, oh, look at that immigrant. See what happens to you if you muck with us. See what's going to happen to you if you do anything to us. Look, you know, that was sort of what was going on with what's his name, you know, they used to put all the people on the spikes, you know, but he overdid it. But if somebody's committed a crime like that and we just put them in jail or we just let them go away, we need to hang them in the public square. Whoa, Dave, that is so violent. If he committed murder, shouldn't we like eye for an eye? Especially somebody with a 12-year-old child. I mean, shouldn't we like go ahead and shouldn't we make it public? Shouldn't we let the immigrants, the 15 million of them that have come over here, and if they think they've got some crazy notion, that's what's going to happen to you. If you do something wrong, that's what we're going to do to you. We don't care. Vlad the Impaler. Thank you, Richard. Oh, that would hurt. I watched a thing about Vlad, and I was, after I got done and seeing all the pictures they had of people, I was like, God almighty. Oh, what a way to go. But see, I would be nice and not stick him on a pole, although, but just hang him. Just like, okay, drop the shoe. All right, there's a dead immigrant. He raped a girl on this spot. Therefore, he is going to pay on this spot for what he did. Eye for an eye. Sorry, not being belligerent, not trying to be anything. He murdered somebody. We know he did, and that's the end of that. That's his punishment. Oh my God, oh my God. Shut up. What if it was your daughter? What if it was, you know, just related? It was, you know, wouldn't you want to see that some bitch hang? I would, you know. So, you know, let's not be petty about this. Let's use common sense. Hang that some bitch up. Now, this is my opinion, not anybody else's. Now, you might agree with me, but why pay for feeding him and housing him and guarding him and all that when dropping, you know, through the opening on a gallows is going to take care of that? Quick, easy. But the other thing is to do it publicly. Let people see this is revenge. This is Christian eye for an eye. You murdered a child and raped her, but you know, but they're both dead. Here's your punishment. Sorry. We're not going to feed you. We're not going to send you to court. We're not going to pander you. We're not going to, you know, put you in a cell, which would be torture. I've been in cells I know it is torture, but kill them. Just execute them. Quit, oh my God, it's so bad, it's so mean, no, it's a simple solution for all of us. Because you're not going to have, the family says, well, the guy that raped and killed my daughter is living in a prison in Kentucky. No, he's hanging from a rope where your daughter was murdered. Until his flesh and bones just drop away, he's going to hang. Payment in kind. Oh, but that's so mean. No, it's not. He raped and murdered a child. Rape and murder anybody, but, a child, I mean, just kind of ups the level just a little bit. So, but anyway, the Democrats are trying to formulate this opinion that, oh my God, these immigrants, we should let them all in. There was a guy they interviewed yesterday. He was just on the street. Oh, we should let them all in. If they need a place and they're coming from another country, let them come in. Really? I'm all for legal immigration. Absolutely. The Mexican friends that I've known, they were tied up in court for years over stupid shit. So the courts need to be revamped, especially for immigration. Some of these people that have come across the border may actually be good people, and we might actually like to have them as American citizens, but not all of them. Just as a percentage, if you get 90% of them folks that are good, that's 10% that's bad. So out of 1,000 people, there's going to be 100 of them that are going to be potentially evil, wicked, mean, bad, and nasty. Is that what you want? I don't. Not under any circumstances. So when you crunch the numbers, you say, well, 90, there's 1 million people that came in. Okay. 900,000 of them are good. But there's 100,000 of them that ain't, we don't know about, that are sketchy, that are maybe nuts. 100,000. That's 10% of 1 million. And 15 million came in, right, that they estimate during Biden. So that is not a small army. 100,000 people is a huge freaking army. And they're already here. They're already entrenched in cities, towns, because we have bust them all over and put them into these positions. So now they can look around and go, oh, look, we could take out that place. We could do this over here. We could create a bomb. And, so is Trump wrong about this? I don't think so. Because we have been warned of an invasion on the southern border. Not just of migrants now. I mean, of like the Chinese that have been coming over and they're, they're decked out t-shirts. What? Okay, I'm going to stick for the 20 and then I'm going to let y'all go. I love you all, I do. So, but don't be taken in by some of this stuff. Stop and think about it before you go, oh, Trump, he did this or that. Take a step back. Because I've had to. But like I said, having been in the car industry, the automotive industry, and have seen it literally from the inside, and to see how it was destroyed, to see how our jobs were sent to Mexico, literally right across the border into Mexico, literally within a mile of the United States border, they moved our plants to use Mexican labor. Now, as far as I know, those plants are still empty in Tifton. As far as I know, there's still a lot of people living who would love to go back to work. As far as that, we made money at the plant. We made sure of that. That was one of my jobs. I saved them millions of dollars in tooling costs, and we improved all these things. Bring our jobs back. At 72, I would apply again to go back to work there because I really liked what I did. Didn't like the stress, but I really liked what I did. And I didn't mind the money. You know, it was $17 an hour, which ain't much these days, but back then it wasn't bad 20 years ago. So I was getting ahead. I was going to put a new roof on the house, and then we all lost our jobs. But with that said, you know, for people to think that the MAGA group of people, because we're behind Donald Trump, we are somehow in this thing. They don't like me because they don't like him. Well, you know, I've had bosses before that were tough, but they got the job done and they satisfied the customer. And in the end, a lot of times, well, 50% of the time, we got a little bonus. Sometimes, you know, it was like, well, take us all out to eat, or they did something above and beyond. Well, here's your paycheck. Well, here's your paycheck, but we're all going to go down to the steakhouse and it's all on me. Oh, and by the way, you know, I got some free things here for you and your family. You can go down and get a free ham. It's on the company, you know, for doing a good job. What? Those are the kinds of bosses you want, but tough as nails. So, you know, here's Trump, tough as nails in business. That's who we need. We don't need a wandering Joe. We don't need a Kamala that don't know what the fudge she's doing. We do not need the Democrats. The people who are being Democrats right now, they are literally tearing this country apart. They're tearing you and me apart. This ain't about political, but it is about absolute survival. Which bunch of folks do you want to work with? Do you want to work with these folks? Or do you want to dye your hair pink and go with them folk? Which do you want? Do you want the people who stand up for rights and the Constitution? Or do you want to take people over here who claim they know the Constitution, but twist it to their own wicked desires? We're going to let guys turn into girls and go into women's locker rooms. And, you know, did you see Miss Alabama? I'm sorry, no offense, but that's Miss Alabama. I remember back in the days when you couldn't wait for Miss Alabama to come out on the stage. You couldn't wait to see the beauty that came out of Alabama, or the Georgia peach, or the Mississippi. The Southern girls were like, back in the day when I was growing up, you couldn't wait to see what Miss Alabama looked like. And Miss Alabama was what? Because of inclusion? Are you serious? So they voted for this girl. Miss World is now Mr. World. That's a good one. Yeah, thank you, Richard. I was thinking about you the other day. I was like, you know, I really do want to come to England. I really do. How can I save up enough money to get over there? I really do. Were you serious about putting me up? Were you serious about driving me around? You know, because I've talked to this with a couple of friends of mine. They go, we'll watch your house. We'll take the dog for you. And I was like, what? You know, so, man, I'd love to come over there and visit. But anyway, but in this crazy world, you know, my plane would probably get shot down. But here's the thing. And one of the things I want to stress to y'all, these folks ain't done. All right. They are still gonna Booed swaps for beards. Oh, I had my right boob was growing. Maybe I should go back to that other medicine and hope that the other one would catch up. And now with my beard and extra long hair, I could be a lady. Be a lady. Whoa, 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 I'm a lady. Ooh, I'm a lady. Yeah, I got to go to the drugstore. I hope I got it. It's quarter up. Yeah, I got to go. But anyway, I love you all. And just by golly, just keep an eye out. These folks are trying to, and it's getting worse. That's my point. It would be an advantage. So, but understand that they're trying to shove some other stuff down our throat. But there are so many of us now that have had it. That a salute now is like, I've had it up to here. Okay. Well, salute. Yeah, but I've had it. I'm saluting y'all because I'm saying I've had it up to here and I ain't taking no more. So which side am I going to vote for? I ain't voting for them. Are you voting for Trump? I'm voting for a CEO that can put us back to work. That's what I'm voting for. Well, Donald Trump did it. Well, don't care. He's been a mean ass boss. He's got to look how many buildings in New York City alone that he's built. He can build back America if we give him a chance. He's a CEO. He knows how to deal with people. Do you like him? Don't know. But I've listened to him. I've watched him. And of all the things that I know, whether I like him or not, is the fact that I hate the other side. What they're doing is I'm if Biden was doing a better job. Even Trump said this in the debate. Trump looked at Joe and he said, Joe, he said, if you had done a better job, I wouldn't have to be here now. That's what he said. And I was like, what? Did anybody hear that? Did y'all hear that? If you had done a better job, I wouldn't have to be here. And that's the truth. So I wouldn't have to vote for Trump if y'all did a better job. I would still be a Democrat if y'all hadn't gone crazy. I would still be like, but y'all changed, not me. I'm still David Null, the old hippie living down here in the edge of the swamp. I'm still me. My values are still the same. They changed on me. Should I vote for him just because? And I used to. Oh God, can't vote for a Republican. Oh, holy crap. Now I've listened to some Democrats and I won't. Yeah, I got to go to the, not the post office, to the pharmacy and get them. But yeah, I got to go. Here we go. So I love you all. I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom and blessings from the Creator. I used to say from the universe, which I still believe, but it from the Creator. So from the Creator, we receive these things if we accept them. So accept the wisdom, accept the knowledge, accept the grace and gifts. And thank you all for showing up this afternoon. I was sitting here and my spirit guys were just poking at me. You ain't said nothing in a while. Get out there, And they were talking about forced, behavior. And I was like, no. But in looking around, they're really trying hard to force us into the behavior that they wish, not what we wish. So in the MAGA movement, there are millions of us who wish to see a better tomorrow. Is there an argument with that? Well, Trump didn't that. Millions of us Maganites want to see a better tomorrow. Do you? That's all. Very simple, very straightforward. Not a lot of argument. You know, we need a better CEO. That's the bottom line. Be safe, y'all. I got to run. Okay. Until next time, I'll see you all later. Yeah, let's do it. You know, we've got all the, like, if you just start, the folks that hate him so bad, if you just listen, he's like, we have all the talent here in America. And we have people who wish to come here to America to help us be great again. They want to be great Americans, and they want to come into the country legally, and they want to, they want to immigrate legally. They want to be Americans. Let's give them the chance. Let's give them, those folks, the engineers and the people with ideas and the stuff, and, not somebody that's just going to be the dishwasher. We do need dishwashers, but, but to the point. I love y'all. I got to shut up. I got to go get in the car and go. Okay. Yep. All right. I love you. Please be safe. Till next time.